Hello everyone, this is Amy from Moxie Dory, and today I'm going to share with you how I am managing the remote learning of my kids. So this is day 2 of remote learning, and the teachers have done such an amazing job of getting all sorts of quality learning activities and assignments all organized, and it's all mostly virtual, and just my brain does not work like that. So I wanted a place where I could, on the daily, make a to-do list for my kids and then go over with them that they completed everything so that everyone was quite literally on the same page. So what I have here is, I just happen to have this in our house. It's just a composition notebook. This one happens to be grid paper because, I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool and I picked it up, and that's what we're using. I have some highlighters, or you could even use like just light colored markers, a black pen, and I'm going to be using the composition notebook stencil, but you know, of course, this is not something that you have to have in order to do this. So, I don't know, little known fact, I taught elementary for 13 years, and when I decided to stay home with my kids, that's when I, got into a more creative realm of making money. So now I work from home, but just so you know, I do have a background in education, and this is most certainly helping with the remote learning, but it's still a challenge. It's a big shift for everyone. It's a big transition, and I don't have to tell you that kids act a lot different at home than they do at school. So I decided to have a weekly page and a daily page. So the weekly, I decided to have just a general overview, and since this is week 1 for us, this is looking pretty empty except for Wednesday, where we have a Zoom call with my son's teacher, and we're not quite sure what time that is yet. We're just getting into it, and so what we'll do next week is we will have schedules for all of the calls that we have for school. Also, my son is taking some out-school classes, so I'll make sure that we have that on our weekly schedule so that we can quick at a glance see when we're supposed to be in a Zoom call. So what we'll do from there is, once we know the time of our calls, we will set an alarm on his iPad so that he can be responsible to set up for his out-school classes or his Zoom calls with his teachers. I wanted to make sure I did a social emotional section, so I think it's really important for everyone to keep in contact with friends and loved ones during this time. So I had my son brainstorm a list of people that he would like to check in with this week. And so once we get back from the parents, I sent out texts, and of course, some of these are like grandmas and grandpas. I sent out texts to a couple of friends saying, can we have a little FaceTime call or a Zoom call this week just to, see how you're doing. And we'll write in the time underneath the day, and then if it's Z for a Zoom call, or FT for a FaceTime, or just P for a regular phone call. So also I wanted to have a memories area, because I think this is such an odd experience that I feel like we need to document some things that we did during this time. There's so many great opportunities for us to be together and to make some lovely memories. So I wanted to make sure I didn't want to, make it too much and make it a chore. So that's why I put it on the weekly. I figured, the kids could come up with a memory for the week. Also, I wanted to make sure that we kept track of some things that we were grateful for. I think there's a lot of negativity to focus on, but also I think one huge component of persevering is reframing some challenges in your life and trying to think, what you could learn or how you could come out of those challenging situations a little better. So let's move on to the daily. So each day will look like this, and it is a lot to devote to each day, but I just feel like things needed to be clearly separated by subject matter, and there needed to be a lot of extra white space for, you know, the kids to be able to process it. So what I did was I included 2 check boxes over here. One is for the accountability on the student's part, on the kid's part, and then one, and this is yesterday, and you can see there's some things that my son and I still need to go over to make sure that he's done it. So this side is either for me or my husband to go back and say, ah, yes, check, check, we get it, you did it, you're showing it to us. I saw something really funny online. It said something like, sure, I did my work. It's in Google Classroom, and you don't know how to get there, Mom. So it's very true. So I like having this down on paper. I like that the kids are controlling the accountability. I like that we can see it. And I also like that the parents can double check. So what I did was, our assignments are coming from a couple of different areas. For my son, it's only 2 places. It's coming from Google Classroom and also from Remind. So what I did was I opened up all of those windows on my computer and I just consolidated, you know, what the kids needed to do. I also included a place down here for an intention. I think it's just really important to understand that these are odd times and we need to be gentle with ourselves. So I color-coded too the different subject matters, and I will keep that consistent. So now to show you how I made this. So again, you don't have to use the stencil, but I have to say it does make it super duper fast and easy. So this productivity tool is called the Composition Notebook Stencil, and it's used completely different than what I'm going to do right now. And there is a YouTube video that goes with that, but right now I'm just going to use it to create this layout that I have on the other side, the daily layout. So I put the stencil down and it marks a little over half of the page. And then, and normally I always pull the pen toward me, but I have this really ridiculous box contraption on my lap because my gooseneck phone holder snapped in half. So I have 2 boxes duct taped together and my phone is actually duct taped to the top of that. So there you have it. So what I'm going to do next, and this stencil is actually intended to be used with a college ruled composition notebook. So this graph paper isn't exactly on. So I'm just going to, you know, again, just be compassionate and forgiving. I'll just scooch it over a little bit. But if you're wondering why things aren't completely lining up, that's why. So I will have the box for reading. And then let's see what's next. Science is green. And I took the subjects that have a little more items to do to put them on the left. So say for example, PE and music, art are all going to be over here. And then I think math is next. I forget what color it is. Math is that like bright orange color. And then on the other half, I'm going to do the same with, let's see, it would be math, readings up there, and then PE and music. That's what it was. Okay, so how I did the assignments, so say for example, let's see, reading. Oh, writing was the other one. So I'll just put reading here. And I'm going to get my 2 check boxes. And so this was for today. So what I'll do is I'll write at the top of the page, off camera, not to bore you, I will put Tuesday, March 31st. And then we have to reread, what was it called? There Were Giants. Okay. And then he actually has to take a quiz. an online quiz for that. So what I'll do is I'll just continue through the other subjects, and I'll do that. And I think as time goes, oh, I forgot to do this. As time goes, I won't be the one making the lists anymore. Eventually, because unfortunately we do know that we are out of school until at least May 6th. Oops. And so what will happen is eventually my children will be trained enough. The template will stay the exact same. The colors will stay the exact same. The process will stay the exact same. So my kids will be trained to actually make this on their own. So, you know, a huge objective in doing this is fostering independence, and responsibility. So this is what this very simple template, this very simple layout is going to do. So I forgot to show you how I made the weekly. So I took the stencil, I lined it up at the top, I did it across, and then I just used, which side did I use? It actually, it was like this, it was from the dots over was 6 boxes, so I had to back it up one. But if you're using lined, that's not going to work. So you're just going to have to measure it and divide it by 5 if you want 5 days on there. So to find the point of the notebook, I just did that. I used this as my straight edge and as my measuring tool. So that's how I made my weekly, and I'm going to continue. And if this, for some reason, you know, stops working and we need to adjust, then that's what we'll do. So I should have said at the beginning that my son is in 5th grade. So I'm going to now work on my daughter's, and she's in 2nd grade, so it's going to look a little different. So, good gravy, help me. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, just ask in the comments.